Love after lockup. Couples that beat the odds. Love after lockup follows the lives of couples who met while one or both of them were in prison, which makes it tough for these relationships to last. Love after lockup follows the lives of couples who met while one or both of them were in prison as they explore their relationship in the world outside of a prison cell. The stories start upon the convict's release, as they navigate living and working together in the free world where there is no longer anything standing in between them. However, few loves last when they are exposed to the real world and they have to face the reality of spending their lives together. Shane Whitlow's love life is a perfect example of this, as his hot and cold relationship with Lacey has been a wild ride for their fans. So that leaves one question for fans: where are the couples now? Many have since split up, while others made it work for a long time before finally calling it quits. Some even broke up before their release only to get back together later on, like John Slater, not to be confused with John Slater, the TV star from Britain. A few are still together, living happily and getting a fresh start after lockup by starting families and finding love. Here are some of the couples that found love that lasted after their stories aired, many of whom are still together today. Perhaps one of the show's most successful couples, Brittany and Marcelino, became a fan favorite very quickly. They had a rocky start after her release but made it work out, getting married in Las Vegas at the end of season 2. Since then, they have had 2 beautiful children and Brittany was able to get back custody of her son from a previous relationship. The family of 5 are living happily, and Brittany seems to have left her life of crime behind her for good. Lacey was originally with her fiancé John Slater, but started a relationship with Shane during his lockup. Lucky for Shane, he was released before John, and Lacey and John officially ended their relationship so she could be with Shane. Their relationship has been hot and cold ever since, from breakups over infidelity to joyously welcoming a new baby, and she even got back together with John for a short time. Lacey and Shane broke up again in December 2021, and only time will tell if they will get back together or if they will come back together again. Christiana and John went through a lot together before finding their happily ever after. John proposed to her upon her release, in front of the prison. They then got married an hour later, before rushing her to the halfway house so she didn't break parole. She ran away from the halfway house and got high, violating her parole and getting her sent back to jail for almost a year. During the time, her mother and sister moved in with John, who had to evade Sister Tara's advances until his wife's release. Since then, they kicked Tara out and have been living happily together as man and wife. When there are large age gaps, there are sure to be at least a few rocky times, especially when one of the individuals involved has been in prison. This is how it was for Angela and Tony, who were introduced in season 1, but Tony wasn't released until season 2. Once released, the older Angela constantly accused him of cheating, but they got married anyway. She eventually kicked him out, but took him back under several conditions. He appears to have accepted and followed through, and they have been happy together in the years since. Devout Mormon Andrea insisted that, once Lamar was released, he married her and made her an honest woman. He couldn't move to her home in Utah, where she lived with her 3 children, so she moved to LA, and he married her there. They have since played a big part on the show's spin-off Life After Lockup, and revealed that Andrea's youngest daughter is actually Lamar's, conceived during a secret dalliance while Lamar was still in prison. The family was last seen heading to Ghana so that her eldest son could complete a Mormon rite of passage. Jessica and Maurice seemed to have an almost fairy tale relationship, if the prince was an inmate. They married while Maurice was in prison, but upon his release, he was unable to move to Las Vegas to live with her until his parole ended. Once he was able to, he did move to be with her, and he gave her the wedding that she deserved. They also welcomed a baby boy in 2020, starting their happy family. Since then, however, many have speculated that the pair may have split, but there has not been any confirmation of this. This is one of the few couples that were dating before Dominic went to prison for 6 years on an assault charge. However, they remained together the entire time, Mary being convinced that they were soulmates. Their relationship was rocky upon his release, as the time behind bars had been traumatizing for him, but they were able to work it out. They got married at the end of their season, and since then they have moved in together and welcomed a new baby into their family. Sean was originally on the show in a relationship with Destiny Folsom, but after a long and gruesome relationship upon her release, they finally went their separate ways. He met Sarah during Life After Lockup, an inmate that he finally met in person once she was released. They had a rocky start, but it eventually blossomed into a wonderful relationship. Sarah and Sean have since married and now have a child together. Destiny, on the other hand, has married a man that she met before she started dating Sean.